Welcome back. We got Luke 6 next up. This one, a little bit longer, but it's a good one. It is a good one. Strap in. Here we go. We're jumping right into it. Luke 6, verse 1. Now it happened that he was passing through some grain fields on the Sabbath, and his disciples were picking the heads of grain, rubbing them in their hands, and then eating the grain. But some of the Pharisees said, "Why do you do what is not lawful on the Sabbath?" And Jesus answered them, Have you not even read what David did when he was hungry, he and those who were with him? How he entered the house of God and took and ate the consecrated bread, which is not lawful for any to eat except the priests alone, and gave it to his companions. And he was saying to them, The Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath. On another Sabbath, he entered the synagogue and was teaching. And there was a man that was whose right hand was withered. The scribes and Pharisees were watching him closely to see if he healed on the Sabbath, so they might find a reason to accuse him. But he knew what they were thinking, and said to the man with the withered hand, Get up and come forward. And he got up and came forward, and Jesus said to them, I ask you, is it lawful to do good or to do harm on the Sabbath, to save a life or to destroy it? And after looking around at them all, he said, Stretch out your hand. And he did so, and his hand was restored. But they themselves were filled with rage and discussed together what they might do to Jesus. Wild. It was at this time that he went off to the mountain to pray and spent the whole night in prayer to God. And when day came, he called his disciples to him and chose 12 of them. So there's a bunch of people that were congregated around him all the time. But he was distilling this down to just 12. Simon, who he also named Peter, and Andrew, his brother, and James and John, the fishing partners, and Philip and Bartholomew, and Matthew, who I believe's name was also, I can't remember, and Thomas, James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon, who was called the Zealot, Judas the son of James, and Judas Iscariot, who became a traitor. Jesus came down with them and stood on a level place, and there was a large crowd of his disciples, right? So there's a lot of people, but not these 12. And a great throng of people from all of Judea and Jerusalem and the coastal region of Tyre and Sidon, who had come to hear him and be healed of their diseases, and those who were troubled with unclean spirits were being cured. And all the people were trying to touch him, for the power was coming from him, and healing all of them. And turning his gaze toward his disciples, he began to say, Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are you who hunger now, for you shall be satisfied. Blessed are you who weep, for you shall laugh. Blessed are you when men hate you and ostracize you and insult you and scorn your name as evil for the sake of the Son of Man. Be glad in that day and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way their fathers used to treat the prophets. But woe to you who are rich, for you are receiving your comfort in full. Woe to you who are well fed now, for you shall be hungry. Woe to you who laugh now, for you shall mourn and weep. Woe to you when all men speak well of you, for their fathers used to treat the false prophets in the same way. But I say to you who hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you. Whoever hits you on the cheek, offer him the other also. And whoever takes away your coat, do not withhold your shirt from him either. Give to everyone who asks of you. And whoever takes your shirt, missing lines. And whoever takes away what is yours, Do not demand it back. Treat others the same way you want them to treat you. If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. If you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. If you lend to those from whom you expect to receive, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners in order to receive back the same amount. But love your enemies, and do good, and lend, expecting nothing in return, and your reward will be great. And you will be sons of the Most High, for he himself is kind to ungrateful and evil men. Be merciful, just as your Father is merciful. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. And do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Pardon, and you will be pardoned. Give, and it will be given to you. They will pour into your lap a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. For by your standard of measurement it will be measured to you. And he also spoke a parable to them. A blind man cannot guide a blind man, can he? Will they not both fall into a pit? A pupil is not above his teacher, but everyone, after he has been fully trained, will be like his teacher. Why do you look at the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, Brother, let me take the speck out of your own eye, when you yourself do not see the log that is in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. For there is no good tree which produces bad fruit, nor, on the other hand, a bad tree that produces good fruit. For each tree is known by its own fruit. For men do not gather figs from thorns, nor do they pick grapes from the briar bush. The good man, out of the good treasure of his heart, brings forth what is good, and the evil man out of the evil treasures brings forth what is evil. For his mouth speaks from that which fills his heart. Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do what I say? Everyone who comes to me and hears my word and acts on them, I will show you whom he is like. He is like a man building his house, who dug deep and laid a foundation on the rock. And when the flood occurred and the torrent burst against that house, it could not shake it, because it was well built. But the one who has heard and has not acted accordingly is like a man who built a house on the ground without any foundation, and the torrent burst against it, and it immediately collapsed, and the ruin of that house was great. This is going to be a longer one. This is jam-packed. I mean, this is full of stuff. So I'm going to leave the scripture up so that we know where we're at. We're talking all the way through verse 11. All the way through verse 11. A little bit of backstory on this. The Sabbath became this thing, as so many church traditions do, this thing that you do to boast your righteousness, or to show just how dialed in you are because you're now better than everybody else, or a metric by which you can judge others. Do they follow the Sabbath like you do? Right? Or some inconsequential way to improve superficially, big air quotes there, your standing with God. Right? You don't actually have to do what he calls you to do. You can observe the Sabbath to the extreme. So the Sabbath became this thing. There's many things. Their law, the law of Moses, became this thing where it was supposed to be a death certificate to all mankind. It became, part of it was to be a death certificate to all mankind. You are dead. Sorry. You've broken these, so now you die. And by die, hell. And then there was another portion of the law that was to separate Israel out from the rest of the people by their customs. And then there was another portion of it to then kind of guide their morality and, across the board. Just guidelines for life, how to conduct yourselves in accordance with his will. So, and we know there's the ceremonial law, the sacrificial law, and the moral law, right? Rather the customary law and the ceremonial law. So many things, Sabbath being one of them, became this thing that it just got blown way out of proportion. And so if there was somebody in need and needed help, if it was the Sabbath, sorry, can't help you. I have to observe the Sabbath because I want the Lord to know just how righteous I am. I got to make sure I'm being righteous, so I'm not going to help you. Meanwhile, the Sabbath was made for man. The man was not made for the Sabbath. The day of rest was for you to enjoy and to give yourself a break. It wasn't this thing that was like, oh, I have to do this to please the Lord. No, chill, dude. Take a day and chill. Relax. But they took it to the extreme where it's like, oh, you have to relax. You cannot do any work, otherwise you are unrighteous. Not the case. So the Lord's kind of undoing all of the perversions that they put on the Sabbath. It was a day of rest. It's a day of rest. It's a day where you stop all the work, stop all the mindset, sigma, alpha mindset stuff, stop all of that. Just focus on the Lord and the opportunities that he's put in front of you. Be grateful, be, unselfish, get out there, and just enjoy and just be blessed and be a blessing. Not them, but he's coming to undo this. And so that's what he does. And he's real sneaky crafty with this stuff. He doesn't touch the guy because that would be work. They would even measure out their steps so that they didn't take, it was a Sabbath day's journey or Sabbath journey or something like that. There's you couldn't, if you took a regular journey, that's work. So you had to take a Sabbath journey, which is less steps. So they're ridiculous with this stuff, very perverted. And so if he were to touch the man and heal him, that would have been work. They would have stoned him right there. But he just says, stretch out your hand. So the guy stretches out his hand. Good. Nobody did any work. But the heart of the matter was help. It's not the point of the Sabbath. You have the opportunity to do good, to help someone. That's more important than not doing work on the Sabbath. Then he chooses his 12. Nothing too crazy there. The Beatitudes. I love the Beatitudes. And a lot of this just speaks to, all right, there's a couple of things we want to dissect here, right? He talks about all these downtrodden, the hungry, the sad, the persecuted, these ostracized and out groups. At that time, and still today, it's still very prevalent today. If you are poor, then you did something wrong, or your ancestors did something wrong. And so you get what you deserve. You're poor. So you must be in sin. If you are hungry and you're doing without, well, God doesn't love you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be hungry. If you are sad and you suffer a lot of loss in your life, well, you must have done something that displeased God, so he's taking everything from you. People hate you, so it must not. People hate you. The Pharisees are out to get you. Nobody likes you. You're wrong. You must be wrong. If you're not in the popular opinion and people don't love you and you're not the talk of the town and you don't, people are not, hey, everywhere you go, but they're like, whatever you're doing and saying must be wrong. Especially he's priming the people for what's to come. People are going to hate you. You are going to be poor. You are going to be hungry. You are going to weep. Men are going to hate you and ostracize you and insult you and scorn your name as evil because of the Son of Man. Because of him. He says, because of me, you are going to have problems. People are going to hate you, and they're going to let you be poor, and they're going to let you be hungry. They're going to let you starve. They're going to rob you. They're going to stop you from being able to work. They're going to whatever. He's priming the engines for all generations to come. They're going to do all of that because they hate me. But blessed are you. I see it. I see it. And whatever men do evil to you here, I will undo it in heaven. And I will do it 1,000,000-fold. That's what he's saying to them. That's what he's saying to them. He's not saying that if you're happy on earth, that's bad. Not saying that. He's not saying if you're rich, ooh, no. If you're not hungry, that's bad. That you should be hungry. He's not saying that. He's not saying that. He's saying those who are taking that as a sign that you are doing something right, as a sign that you are in good standing with God, you're going to find out. You're in for a rude awakening. This is the only time you're not going to be hungry. This is the only time you will not be weeping. Yeah, people sitting back, I'm happy. I'm good. I'm good in life. Everything's going well for me. God must love me. He must. Because I am sitting pretty. I'm not like these poor folks. I'm not like these sick, nasty, disgusting folks. I'm not like any of these icks out there. I'm chilling. Everybody loves me. They give me gifts. Everywhere I go, people are high-fiving. I'm the talk of the town. God must love me. I'm good. Well, you're going to be in hell. If that's what you're taking as your mark, that you are in good standing with God. You're having it nice now. Good for you. After this, eternal suffering. Eternal suffering. As a matter of fact, you won't even remember any of the good. So, have fun. And then he gets into some of the treatments, right? He gets into some of the practices. Love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Because there's another level to this, right? There's another level to this. People will hate you. And you will have enemies because of God. Don't treat them like enemies. Right? Because you could go into that and be like, oh, well, guess what, man? You're getting yours. I hope you burn in hell one day. No. No. No, I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm sorry. I wish you weren't doing this right now. What you're doing is ugly. What you're doing is not good to me, but I pray that God have mercy on you, right? Or when somebody mistreats you, you just pray for them. You pray for them. Someone's nasty to you, somebody takes advantage of you, you pray for them. We pray for them. When someone does something to you, you pray for them. Whoever hits you on the cheek, that's more of I think this is like a little British of an interpretation of something, or I think even then in that time, to slap someone on the cheek was to disrespect them. This was not physical violence. He's not saying that if somebody is beating you up to just take the beating and go on and say, you know what, give me some more beatings. It's not saying that. This is more of a disrespect, right? If somebody disrespects you, someone humiliates you in front of people, and you go, you got anything else? Like, yes, whatever that thing is, that disrespect. Don't try to like, no, just be like, sure, okay, all right, cool. Let's keep it moving. Somebody steals from you, don't try to, go to court and steal and not steal and try to get it back or whatever. Don't get into the whole. Listen, if someone takes your coat, somebody robs you, somebody takes advantage of you, they get one over on you, they take something that doesn't belong to them from you, offer up more. Don't have any ties to anything in this world. Don't be so distraught over someone taking something from you, because ultimately God gives you everything and he can take away whatever he wants. Right? If someone, hits you with that little extra charge on the thing and they're trying to be like, trying to hit you with the fine print, whatever. And then leave a tip. That kind of deal. That's what he's saying. Treat others the same way that you'd want them to treat you. That's at the end of the day, and that's what we call the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's this verse right here. Luke 6:31. And he's saying, you're not great for being good to those who are good to you. That's easy. Everybody does that. You're not good for lending to people who you know are good for it. No, lend to people who are not good for it, and they're not going to give it back to you. Don't expect it back. Don't give expecting to get anything back in return. When you give, don't expect anything back. Give and give freely, right? That's the gift that you were given. That's the gift that you were given. You were given freely. Nothing expected in return. And your reward will be great. And he says, even the king, for he himself, right? He's talking about God, is kind to ungrateful and evil men. It's us. He's kind to us. So you be merciful just as your Father is merciful. Do not judge and you will not be judged. Now, this is a verse that people love to use on you. They love to use this verse on you. You don't judge. But Jesus is saying you don't judge. He's not telling you to tell other people to not judge you. The verse does not say unto others, do not judge me. That's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying. He is saying, do not pass judgment on people, and they will not pass judgment on you. He is saying, do not condemn people, and they will not condemn you. Saying, pardon other people, and you'll be pardoned. The same measure by which you judge, other people are going to judge you. He's talking about this in relation to other people, because just before this, he was talking about this in relation to other people. He's not talking about this in relation to himself. He is the judge. And he is not saying to not make any judgments at all. He is also not saying you cannot, he's discouraging you from being harsh, like the Pharisees are doing. Oh, that guy is eating with sinners. He must be a bad person. Don't do that, because everybody's going to do the same exact thing to you. The measure by which you judge, you will also be judged. The measure you use will be used against you. So if you're one of those people that's constantly judging people's works to see how Christian they are, Well, guess what? People are going to come to you with a very fine-tooth comb and go through your life and go, oh, well, look who's talking, right? If you're one of those people that's looking at everybody's prayer life and prayer spirituality, you don't pray in tongues? Interesting. Wow, you must not be that spiritual. People are going to start looking at you going, wait a minute. Well, maybe you're not. What? You're pretending to? Well, hold on a second. Maybe you're not that spiritual. Maybe you're not saved. That kind of deal. Oh, you don't give more than 10% for tithe? What, are you being stingy with God? I know how much money you make. And people are going to start looking at you like, well, you only give 12? I know how much money you make. You see what I'm saying? It gets into that. That's what he's talking about. Don't do that. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn. That guy's going to hell. That guy's not saved. That person is a bad parent, and that person he's an alcoholic. He might not be. He should be struggling with something at the moment. He might be having a bad day. That guy's a piece of garbage. I don't trust that guy. That dude deserves to be locked up. Chill with all that, because people are going to look at you and do the same thing. Don't be like that. And it's implied to be the opposite, right? Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Rather, pardon, and you will be pardoned, right? He says the opposite thing to be, so therefore you should be the opposite of those things, which is being pardoned. Being merciful. Being merciful, right? The verse right before it, he gives you what you should do, tells you what you shouldn't do, and then caps it off with what you should do again. 36, be merciful, just as your Father is merciful. Do not judge. Do not condemn. Be pardoned, and you will be pardoned. Right? That is the little snippet there. Be merciful, pardon, and you'll be pardoned by others. So that's where to be. Right? If somebody's poor, you go, oh, let me give. What does he need? Not looking down on them like, oh, poor guy. God must hate you. If somebody is a Christian and they've got like a potty mouth, you don't sit there and be like, well, he's not a Christian. He wouldn't talk like that. So then someone's going to go, well, you're not a Christian because you're judging, and the Bible says not to judge. Right? Because then they have that to go on. So, no, you go, oh, that's, everybody grows in time. Everybody grows in time. Everybody's arc is different, and everybody struggles with different things, And he who controls the tongue controls the whole body, right? It's tough. It's tough. I've been there, right? Even I struggle with it sometimes, right? Or somebody who's, maybe boozing a little heavy. You go, you should pray for him. Keep an eye out for him. We got to keep an eye out for him. That's a very slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope. I know. I've been on the slippery slopes myself. I know my heart goes out to anybody who's struggling with that. It's very dangerous. But yeah, we got to keep an eye on our brothers here, man. Make sure that they're not imbibing too much. Offer them a ride home. Hey, brother, how you doing? Yeah, that kind of deal. Check in with them, because then people will check in with you when they see you kind of being like, something maybe a little questionable, something. Let's check in with him and see how he's doing. They're going to treat you the same way. They're going to be merciful the same way. Right? That's what he's saying. He's not saying you're not allowed to judge anything. You're not allowed to say that something is bad. Things are bad. Because he goes right into the blind cannot lead the blind. Somebody has to see what's going on. Everybody can't be going around like this with their eyes covered and then being like, follow me. Somebody has to have some, and then the context. The pupil is not above his teacher, but as the pupil grows, he will be like his teacher. So you, being baby, being dumb, should not be sitting there to your teacher, to those who are ahead of you, trying to tell your teacher something. But instead, you should try to get on their level and see things the way that they see things. Or maybe a different way, but on their level. That's what you should be striving for. Not to correct your teacher, but to understand like your teacher understands. Not to be the blind guy that you're telling everybody to follow you, but to be the one who has sight and is worthy of being followed, who can be trusted to be followed. Ergo, there might be a blind spot, a speck, like a little floaty in your brother's eye. We're not trying to take that out. Meanwhile, you literally have a gigantic block of wood in your eye you can't see through, right? Let me help you with that. When you are way worse, focus on yourself first. Because it says, you hypocrite, verse 42, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you can see clearly to take the speck that is in your brother's eye. He does not say you cannot get the speck out of your brother's eye. He says, check yourself before you wreck yourself. And then you can check other people. Right? Get your own giant blind spots figured out first. Then you can lead the brother. Stop being blind. Then you can lead. Get on the level of your teacher. Then you can. Get some understanding. Then you can be like your teacher and then teach. Stop trying to correct the little minutia that your pastor or that your teacher or that the person who disciples you, the words. People do this on the internet all the time. They're going to do it with me. I refuse to do it with them. The little nuances and the little actually the word there is stop. Stop. You have whole entire doctrines you have wrong. Chill. Check your own stuff. And then come back. I'm telling you, I see it all the time. My Instagram and YouTube feed is full of it. Some guy will be out there talking about like, well, this guy, he's talking about the word blah, blah, blah in the scriptures or what Jesus was teaching on this. And then we'll also go and say that women can be pastors. Wrong. So like focus on your own stuff. That's wrong. Maybe. The structure of the church. Well, the church was not meant to be this crazy organization with a hospitality center and a children's ministry, and it was supposed to be a decentralized family kind of gathering and blah blah blah. You're throwing out entire books of the Bible, entire letters. So stop trying to criticize somebody else's like little gray area where like, should we have a greeting center or should we have door greeters and should it be like organized and stuff, or should it be just a mess? Spec, log. Once you get it figured out, then you can lead. 43. There is no good tree which produces bad fruit. It's not possible. It's not possible. Here's where the judging does come into handy. This is where the judging does come into place. And he's saying, and I think the real point of this here is, do these people have good fruit? And lay off of them, because they're probably good fruit then. They're probably good tree then. Do people have bad fruit? They're probably bad trees. Right? You raise bad kids, probably bad parent. But if you're raising good kids, don't criticize their parenting. They have good kids. Also, raising kids is not that easy. Even that's not that great of an example. But like, if the person has a nice family life and they've got good, well-behaved kids, and they got a good marriage, and they're in the church and they're volunteering, and they've got good fruit in their life. They've got, people, they have all of these things, the well-connected community and the people like them, and they're zealous for the Lord, and they read and they have knowledge and all this stuff. Just quit harping on them. They're not, just because they do something you don't agree with, or, maybe some area they might struggle with a little bit or something's like that. Chill. That's a good tree. He's got good fruit. Relax. Have mercy. Meanwhile, if they're doing the things that you agree with, but they got bad fruit everywhere, what are you doing? You're going to give them the pass? That's a bad tree. Bad fruit. And furthermore, bad trees are evident by bad fruit. Treat the bad fruit and the bad tree like bad fruit, bad tree. But if you're seeing good fruit, don't treat the bad tree don't treat a good tree like it's a bad tree. If a good tree's got good fruit. Use too many words, but that's what we're talking about there. And he's saying figs do not come from thorns, and grapes don't come from a briar bush. One thing equals another thing. And this thing over here equals an entirely different thing. Don't get it mixed up. If you're seeing a person and they're doing what the Lord wants, and they're being blessed, and they're having the good fruit, the fruits of the Spirit, they are patient, they are kind, they are loving, long-suffering, those things, good family life, well-respected, teaching others, wisdom, understanding. And you're going to come at them like, well, I don't know because of this. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Now, moving into the last section, because we lingered on that a bit, because that is a point that people really get messed up. And I want you, and again, this is surface level. People rip this stuff out of context, kicking and screaming. So I know this is a longer one, but we're just hitting the surface level on this. We're not really getting into the weeds. This isn't even the weeds, but that's how perverted people make these passages to try to get out of you saying anything that they do is wrong. It's not what this passage is talking about. Anyway, last portion. Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do what I say? Obey. Obey. It's very clear. A lot of churches, they don't teach obey. They teach everything else but obey. That word is like not allowed. Obey the Lord like he is your master. Everyone who comes to me and hears my word and acts on them, I will show you whom he is like. He is like the builder who builds his house on the rock. Very important. When the flood occurred and the torrent burst against the house, it was not shaken. Just because you obey God does not mean that there is no storms. There is no torrent. There is no flood. You are going to catch the same smoke that life brings. Except your faith will not be shaken. Your relationship with the Lord, your standing with him, will not be shaken. The foundation, the house that this man is building, is his relationship, is his faith in God. Your faith will not be shaken. People get this twisted. He is saying, everyone who comes to me, you repent of your sin and you obey me, your faith will not be shaken. They try to take out the obedience portion of this and just have the faith. This is the footsteps in the sand. It's a good story. Or we were walking together and then the storm came and there was only one set of feet print. And at the end of the storm, why did you leave me? When there's only one set of feet print. And Jesus says, those feet print were mine. I carried you through. That's a beautiful story. And just the faith and the leaning on him. That is a beautiful story. That's not what this is talking about. And that story is not even in the Bible. Someone else wrote that. What this is saying is obey. Do what he says to do. When he says, be merciful. When you go through the storm of somebody stealing from you, somebody defrauding your company, or denying your medical claims, or trying to tear your family apart, or spreading lies about you and gossip and rumors and judging you and making you feel ostracized, even in your community, even in your church, even in your own family. Obey. Be merciful. Be kind. Do not judge. Obey, and your faith will not be rocked. Your faith will not be shaken. Your relationship with the Lord will not be shaken. You will get through that terrible time, the terrible treatments of people, those terrible persecutions. Your business will be destroyed. Your family will be destroyed. Your finances will be destroyed. But your relationship with God, your faith, your walk with him will stand. So many people think that their obedience or their nominal, marginal acknowledgement of him that they call faith is going to carry them through something, or it is going to carry them in life and above the storm. No. You are going to catch the same hands that life has. It might not be God's divine intervention to make your life awful like happened to Job. It definitely will not be that, because you're not that righteous. But his punishments may not be on you, but you are still going to have the same trials and tribulations, very similar ones, that so many other people. You're not exempt from catching life's hands. And you might get a really bad one. Everybody gets the waves. Everybody gets the torrents. Everybody gets the floods. Obey and believe, right? Those who come to me, hear my words, and act on them. They make it through. And the other ones don't. So many people, they think, you see this with celebrity ones, right? You see this with, I don't know if this is Kanye's story, but you see what Kanye, I already did a video about Pete Holmes on this and his testimony and stuff, where it's I did all the things and I felt like I shouldn't suffer anything. I think Kanye might have said something along the same lines, it didn't get me anything. I don't know. I might be out of context, so that's not the example I want to use. But people like that, there's situations where it's yeah, I went to go do this thing. I wanted to be, in a relationship with God. I had some thought in my head, even if they acknowledge that it was wrong. Now, whatever, they still have it, and it still rocks their relationship with them. There's not even acknowledging that it was wrong, and they shouldn't think that, and they know that now. It still affected their relationship and their faith in him. Going into it, thinking that obedience equals I don't get the bad stuff. I don't get the heartache and the absolute, devastation. It couldn't be further from the truth. You get that. But that's the proof. When you come out on the other end and you still believe and you still love and you still worship and you're still thankful to God, that's the proof that is the proof of the pudding. That your faith is legit because it was tested and it withstood. That was a long one. Holy moly, dude. That was by far the longest one. That was almost a whole podcast episode. That's crazy. But this one was jam-packed. If you want, You can break it up and watch this in 2 different segments. Oops, sorry. And we didn't even get into the weeds. Holy moly. We did 0 cross-referencing in this. That's crazy. Sometimes, man, we're going to find that, dude. Luke packs it all together. He packs it all together. Anyway, that was a long one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.